Hello everyone, Mike Arendt here, the Soul Mechanic, and I'm welcoming you to another episode of Men on Fire, the 5-Minute Message. Hey, one more thing before we get going. Are you feeling stressed, anxious, or frustrated these days? If you are, and you'd like a little help, go to calendly.com/Soul Mechanic Booking and book a 15-minute clarity call with me absolutely free. That's Calendly, CALENDLY.com/Soul Mechanic-booking. Also, if you're looking for an accomplished public speaker to speak in person or virtually at your next event or meeting, I can help you out there too. Okay, let's get on with the show. Welcome to another episode of Men on Fire, the 5-Minute Message, here on Soul Mechanic Radio. Now, the last time we got together, we spoke a little bit about some of the misconceptions and beliefs that we hold from many years past, thousands of years even. And I mentioned to you that there's a book out called Communion with God, written by Neale Walsch. And in that book, there's 10 illusions of humans. And I wanted to go through those one at a time. And today is the very first one. It's called the illusion of need. It's the first illusion, and it's also the grandest of all of them. Now, everything you currently experience in your life, everything that you feel moment to moment, is rooted in this idea and your thoughts about this need, this illusion of need. See, need is non-existent in the universe. One needs something only if one requires a particular result. But if you don't need a certain result to happen, then you don't need that thing that you're thinking about. So, need is likewise then non-existent in the mind of God or the mind of source energy, whatever you'd like to do with that. And I will read a couple things out of the chapter here, and I'm going to substitute, I can substitute God's name with the word life, because they are one and the same. So I will do that as we move forward. So if life needed something to produce a result, where would God get it? There is nothing that exists outside of life. Life is all that is, all that was, and all that will ever be. There is nothing that is not life. Now, if life needed something to produce a result, where would life get it? There's nothing that exists outside of life, is there, that we know of? So if there's nothing that exists outside of life, life is all that is, that all that was and all that ever will be. So God needs nothing to occur except that which is occurring right now. And life needs nothing to occur except that which is occurring right now. And the universe needs nothing to occur except that which is occurring right now. This is the nature of all things. This is how it is, not the way you have imagined it. In your imagination, from the illusions that you have accepted, from the beliefs passed down to you, you have created the idea of need out of your experience, that you need things in order to survive. Yet suppose that you don't care whether you lived or died. Then what would you need? If you didn't care whether you lived or died, what would you need? There's absolutely nothing you would actually need, is there? And suppose it was impossible for you not to live. Then what would you need? Nothing at all, because you would always live and never die. So what would you actually need? Nothing, other than, sustenance and shelter, perhaps. Now, there's some truth here. It is impossible for you not to survive, and I want you to accept that. You cannot fail to live. It is not a question of whether you will live, but how. That is, what form will you take? What will your experience be in life? So you need nothing to survive. Your survival is guaranteed. And, I hear this, you might be saying, well, survival is one thing and happiness is another. And you may imagine that maybe you need something in order to survive happily. That you can be happy only under certain conditions. But this is not true. I'm going to tell you a secret now of the universe. Happiness is not created as a result of certain conditions. Certain conditions are created as a result of happiness. I'll repeat that again. Happiness is not created as a result of certain conditions. Certain conditions are created as a result of happiness. So this expression can also be used in other things. Love is not created as a result of certain conditions. Certain conditions are created as a result of love. Compassion is not created as a result of certain conditions. Certain conditions are created because of a result of compassion. Abundance is not created as a result of certain conditions. Certain conditions are created as a result of abundance. It doesn't matter what you substitute in there, it will still hold true. And that beingness precedes the experience. It's your beingness. Now, because many of us have been able to understand this, we have imagined certain things must occur in order for us to be happy. And we have an image of a God that is the exact same way. Yet why would God choose things to occur that would make God unhappy? The answer is one that we cannot accept. Nothing makes God unhappy. And we've been taught not to believe this because it would require us to believe in a God without need or judgment. And because we're human beings and we've been taught to need and to judge others, then we cannot imagine such a powerful being as God not having the same needs and judgments. So you see how we've put our human frailties onto a entity, a source of energy, something that just is and is not really a person, but we kind of say he all the time, or she. We've made that up. That God isn't someone out there looking down on us all the time. It's source of energy. So, therefore, the first illusion that we've been examining, the idea that need exists, was then born because we thought we had to need something. But need does not exist. It is fiction. In reality, you need nothing to be happy. Happiness is a state of being. It's not a state of doing. Whatever you do may not make you happy. It's a state of being. So we created this illusion of a dependent God. And people produced that, a cultural story in which God has an agenda. In other words, there are things God wants and needs to occur, and ways in which they must occur in order for God to be happy. But that can't be true. That's like saying, if God or life or the source is fullness, that is absolutely full, then if something was full, why would it need something to make it even fuller? It doesn't. It doesn't. So the idea that God had a will that must be done forced people to try to figure out what that will was. And this exercise made it clear that there was no universal agreement upon any of the species or religions at this point. Yet everybody knew that God's will needed to be followed, but not everybody could possibly be doing God's will. Now, clearly, there was a flaw in that first illusion, the illusion of need. And humans knew that in a very deep level, but they couldn't give up on the illusion. And they felt that maybe something very vital would come to an end if they gave up on this illusion of need. They felt need. God feels need. We have to do things for him, he, she, it, whatever. And it's just untrue. It's an illusion. So they made this mistake, and instead of seeing the illusion as an illusion, and using it for the purpose for which it was intended, they thought they had to fix that flaw. And thus was born the second illusion that we'll talk about on the next episode of Men on Fire, the 5-Minute Message. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Bye for now. Hey, do you think 3 words can change your life? Well, I know they can. Whether you want to leave a dead-end job or conquer addiction, heal a relationship, master your finances, or grow a business, the 3 words you need are, you're the one. That's right, you are definitely the one. How do I know? Because I'm the one too. And those 3 words have changed my life. It's the title of my new trilogy of books, and the first 2 are available right now at micahwren.com. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. As always, keep what feels good and dump what doesn't. And remember, live without judgment, give without expectation, and love for no reason. Follow those 3 simple expressions, and you'll be well on your way to an inspirational, intentional, and successful life. Until next time, you're the one.